Oh, Dub Nation, where do I even start with this absolute circus unraveling right in front of the Chase Center? I swear, if I had $1 for every meme blowing up on Warriors Twitter mocking the team's master plan, I could buy the whole damn Bay Area a round of shots. And trust me, we'd all need it after the latest nightmare. Fans are yelling into the void, podcasts are devolving into stuttering fits, and radio callers? Forget it. They're losing their minds trying to piece together what the hell just happened. You'd think we were living in some twisted alternate universe where everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And somehow, the Warriors' front office finds a shiny new way to betray the very soul of Dub Nation. I mean, haven't we seen this sad rerun before? Remember that glorious "we believe" moment? The mad rush to the playoffs with zero expectations, only to get our hearts exploded a few times before the KD betrayal. That gut punch that still haunts every true fan every single day. Yeah, that one. Then there was the legendary 73-9, regular season where destiny was ours for the taking, and the collapse. Oh, the collapse. When the Cavs crushed our dreams like they were just a pesky fly on a windshield. And who could forget 2022, the redemption saga, or so we thought, before the injuries, the drama, and the ominous whispers backstage started creeping in again. Okay, so fast forward to now. We're just about a month and a half from tip-off. The calendar is lit up. Jerseys are prepping to drop. Christmas Day games are set. The smell of fresh Warriors basketball should be intoxicating, right? But instead, the chaos swirling around the remodeling of the roster has everyone shaking their heads and holding their breath. Because the question on every fan's lips is, are we building a dynasty or watching it crumble, one questionable move at a time? Enter the villain of this latest season's meltdown, quietly lurking beneath the surface. Moses Moody. Yup, you heard that right. Moses Moody, the kid we all wanted to root for, the scrappy underdog with flashes of lockdown. Defense in moments where you swear, this guy could be our X factor. But oh no, the irony drips thick here. You see, while every soul in Dub Nation prays for Moody to take that leap, solidify his role, step into consistency, deliver those sweet 3-and-D stats we all crave, what do we get instead? A maddening saga of role swaps, benching, shoot now, miss always. Spells and confusion so thick it could cut with a knife. Writing about his potential feels like taunting a ghost, which is exactly what the front office does. Give him hope, then yank it away. Oh, we love Moses. He's got heart. Then silence. He's been inconsistent. Then bench. And don't get me started on those brutal shooting stretches last season that single-handedly allowed the Timberwolves to snooze us out of the playoffs. Remember that 4 for 23 shooting slump at the crucial end? Yeah, Moses was there. Meanwhile, the front office juggled Dean Melton, Al Horford, Gary Payton like hot potatoes, forever dangling that carrot of, we've got a plan, while Moses was trying to lock down his identity. And what's that plan? Save money on luxury. Tax? Mask the tanking? Or is it some twisted franchise ritual where we just slowly hollow out a promising player to prop up fading stars and questionable vets? You gotta ask, how does a dynasty treat one of its own emerging wing defenders like a pesky side note? What kind of owners mortgage the soul of their defense just to save a buck on the books of a multi-billion-dollar franchise? Call me crazy, but this reeks of the same old money-first, win-later sellout playbook that cost us KD's prime and gave us that gut-wrenching 73-9 finale memory. And nobody, is talking about how Moses might actually be caught in a pressure cooker of expectations no one wants to officially admit exist. That's right. While Buddy and Jimmy Butler prep for their blockbuster roles, Moses is supposed to morph into some dependable 3-and-D automaton, but with a fluctuating schedule, roller coaster minutes, and zero true identity stability. Can you imagine? It's like forcing a chess grandmaster to play checkers. Sure, he's got the skills, but the game's all wrong. Add in the conspiracy sauce. Maybe the front office knows something we don't. Maybe the Dean Melton and Gary Payton negotiations are just smoke and mirrors designed to keep fans hanging, while the franchise quietly gets cozy with financial maneuvering that's antithetical to championship building. How else do you explain the limp silence on genuine commitments to homegrown talent? Moses was signed for a reason, yet he looks more like collateral damage in the luxury tax chess game than a core piece. And here's the kicker, the thing no one wanted to say out loud. What if Moses Moody is not just a frustrating case of mismanagement, but actually the canary in the coal mine, signaling something far darker? What if this remodeling is just the front office's polite way of staging a farewell tour for the last bridge between the original dynasty and whatever the hell the future is? What if the Moses Moody saga is the unraveling thread that, once pulled, exposes the whole worn-out fabric of this crumbling franchise? It's ironic, isn't it? We started as the team with the best culture, the revolutionary blueprint, the perfect mix of grit and glam. Now we're knee-deep in lab work footage that feels more like desperate PR than genuine progress. Look, Moses is shooting more threes. Look, he's in the gym. Except gym time doesn't erase a history of backseat coaching, role confusion, or that sluggish game tape where the guy couldn't find the rim with a GPS. Meanwhile, Buddy and Jimmy are the tokens of hope, the dynamic duo, they say, Batman and Robin, yet even that narrative feels half-baked when overshadowed by the looming questions about the rest of the roster. Can these guys carry a sinking ship on their backs? Hasn't this movie been played out, with the franchise benching youth while floating veterans on borrowed time? And the bitterness comes from the real gut-deep passion of us fans who've seen the peak and the valleys. We believe, pun intended, we want to believe that Moses Moody can be more than a statistic or a cautionary tale. But the cruel truth? The system feels rigged against him, against the very blood and soul that made us warriors. We're talking heroics replaced by hand-wringing, redemption stories now sidelined by cap considerations, and endless process. Euphemisms? So here's where it gets dark. If this is the tragedy of Moses Moody, the ill-fated gem of the remodel, imagine the domino effect. Who's next in line to be sacrificed on the altar of convenience? Which budding star gets the shorts, end of the stick, while the franchise pretends it's all part of some grand master plan? Is the legacy of Curry of the original Warriors dynasty destined to be tarnished, not by the talent on the floor, but by off-court mismanagement and cold calculus? The emotional wreckage for fans is real. It chokes you when you remember the sunrise of the dynasty, and now watch this sunset. So if you're feeling the betrayal, the skepticism, and the biting irony, you're not alone. Dub Nation has lived miracles. We believe that incredible underdog run, the dynasty of 5 rings. Then heartbreaks, slicing through our hearts like a Klay Thompson dagger, the KD era leaving us in disbelief, the gut-wrenching collapse after 73-9, and finally, the 2022 bittersweet resurrection with a tinge of hope and a mountain of what-ifs. But this feels like a whole new kind of breaking point, a slow-burning meltdown disguised as strategic remodeling. So here's the message to you, true Warriors fans. We've been through the ringer and back. And if Moses Moody's saga doesn't get you fired up, ask yourself, what else are we supposed to accept? Dynasty cracking? Heroes abandoned like yesterday's news? The storm is far from over, and believe me, if you think Moses Moody's remodeling drama is the final act, buckle up, because the star trade rumors, the quiet exits, and the front office's quiet plans for the future are brewing something far more seismic. So go ahead, drop your takes below, light up the comments, because what the Warriors have started with Moses might just be the first domino in a collapse nobody saw coming, or maybe, just maybe, the painful rebirth before the next impossible miracle. Either way, man, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Stay gold, Dub Nation. We need you fired up now more than ever. How much betrayal can Dub Nation endure? Smash that like button now, because what's about to surface makes the last scandal look harmless. This goes deeper than Draymond's mouth or Kerr's sideline breakdowns. It's an all-out war inside. The Warriors' very soul, fueled by greed, secrecy, and an ownership that's clearly lost its grip on loyalty. Yes, right after the saga of Kevin Durant slipping through the Bay's fingers like sand, just when fans thought the worst was KD's quiet exit, leaving a poisoned locker room, here we are again, watching the franchise's front office trade. Ambition for cash flow, turning a championship-caliber roster into a revolving door of unfulfilled promises and shredded trust. Andre Iguodala, once the heart and soul, was cast aside like garbage. Then we cheered every resurrection until whispers hit that the Warriors brass saw him and others not as warriors but as expendable assets in a bigger financial chess game. And don't think Draymond Green's explosive temper is just about his tough guy antics. It's a reaction to the abyss opening beneath him, a cavern where the franchise's identity is crumbling because those pulling the strings prefer dollar signs over Dub Nation's pulse. Meanwhile, rival fans and pundits feast on every misstep. Lakers laugh, Clippers gloat, even the lowly Kings smirk, all eyes glued to a franchise that went from a dynasty to a dumpster fire faster than you can say super team meltdown. But here's the real kicker. Amidst all the firestorms, the B ownership's silence speaks louder than any press release, as if they're orchestrating this chaos to push their own agenda, selling the dream while quietly draining the team's future. This isn't just negligence, it's calculated betrayal. How else do you explain the internal leaks that pit players against each other, the botched contract extensions that sabotage cohesion, or the mysterious medical investigations that leave fans wondering if some of the worst injuries were avoidable, or even convenient? It's no coincidence that since that infamous 73-9 heartbreak, where the Warriors fell prey to the dreaded finals choke, the seeds of dysfunction embedded deep within have flourished into full-blown rot. The KD saga, remember? The way he bolted to Brooklyn shattered an era, but also exposed the fragility beneath the bronzed exterior. And now, with Kerr's quiet tensions leaking out, rumors that he's fed up with management ignoring his pleas for clarity and support, the supposed family atmosphere is a smokescreen. What fans are witnessing is the unraveling of everything the we believe underdogs dreamt about and the self-made superstars built on sweat and loyalty. But here's the piece no one is daring to talk about. The ownership's true intentions aren't just about winning or losing. They're about positioning the franchise as a flush cash machine while pawns on the court suffer. What if the Warriors are being deliberately dismantled to make way for a total rebuild more aligned with Silicon Valley's cold logic than the fiery passion of Dub Nation? What if this orchestrated chaos is the final insult, a slow burn to extract every last dime before moving on? And what about Steph Curry? The heart of it all, the man who carried this franchise from plucky underdog to global legend. How much more can he take before he decides that loyalty to management is a sucker's game? What happens if the baby-faced assassin with rings on, his fingers and a legacy etched in gold, finally says enough and walks? Can you even imagine the vacuum that leaves, the torrential collapse of a dynasty built on brilliance, brotherhood, and sheer will? The cracks in this locker room are more than superficial bruises. They're fractures in the foundation. The fans who once roared strength in numbers now whisper fears of abandonment and betrayal, scapegoats handed over, veterans run out, and rookies thrown to the wolves. And with every botched trade, every controversial benching, every puzzling injury report, the tension ratchets higher like a volcano about to explode into irreparable ruin. Because if this is how they're treating the pillars of past glory, just imagine the chaos when the next superstar or rising star gets caught in the fire, sacrificed on the altar of greed and dysfunction. Warriors' ownership isn't just blind to the damage, they're actively steering the ship toward the iceberg, while the fans drown in disbelief and fury. The betrayal isn't just a shadow, it's a full-on assault on everything Dub Nation holds sacred. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next meltdown in Warriors drama, because this story is far from over, and the backlash is only just beginning. As a Warriors fan who's seen every miracle and heartbreak, I can't shake the fear this might be the breaking point. Is it the end of everything we built, or the twisted rebirth of Dub Nation? Either way, the pain is real, and the fallout is coming.